When your spirit, when your intuition, spidey senses, gut feeling, red flags start ringing off the hook, it can ring off the hook very subtly. The question is, are you aware to hear it? And when you do hear it, what do you do about it? All right. So, have an ex-client. Ex-client at the time, as the story starts, she was a potential client. Saw me on YouTube and was calling around for consultants, and I picked up my phone. She was ecstatic. She was happy. She was giddy. And she just proceeded to be friendly with me. And that was my first red flag. How you friendly with me? And I'm saying friendly with me, and I don't know you. And I understand people say when you make videos, people watch your content and they feel as if they know you or they're closer to you. I get that, but she was just overly friendly. And I was like, okay, red flag. So notice I said red flag 1. Then she basically was love bombing me. And how was I receiving this? I was kind of giddy in the sense that, well, wow, I made these videos, you're giddy and you like them. Okay, I'm flattered that you are seeking my services. Okay, cool. Now, as she started to progress with the love bombing, it entailed future faking. Yes, I've learned all these terms, and now I'm just using them because they best describe it. She's future faking and telling me what she's going to do and how, she's going to become my new best friend, and she's going to have countless clients that's going to be knocking on my door and knocking on my door because she's going to refer, and just a whole bunch of stuff. It's been a while. And this is what she was saying or offering. And I'm like, okay. I wasn't too big on that. I was just giddy. She was happy to be happy to, patronize my services. All right. My spidey senses was ringing off the hook the whole time, though. And I actually gaslighted my own self. Because even though my red flags was ringing off the hook, I was like, hey, she's happy. And then my ego was stroked even more because I know she was willing to drive a few hours to come see me to get her hair done. And I'm like, if that's not dedication, that's a great client. She's serious. She's going to do what you tell her to do with her hair. She's not going to deviate too much. She's going to maintain it. And she should be a breeze. That's logic talking. But my spidey senses was like, this one right here, something is off. All right. Met her the first time. It was fine. It was cool. It was pretty decent. People ask you about your life. They share their life. And you're like, okay, cool. She's on time. In fact, she's early. She gets here. She sits. She waits. Now, I have a home studio set up. And this was... I was commuting back and forth strongly between New York and Maryland. And we sat down to... She's had a few reties. All right. After a while, my client became very comfortable. And then the weirdness started to surface. Everything's an argument. Everything is with an accusatory tone. One time, my son was around and he was texting me. Yo, put on the TV. Do something. Why is she yelling like that? Can't you put on the TV to simmer her down or get her to relax? And I texted him back. I said, the TV's on. The TV was on. Everything. Quarrel with everything. News anchor, narrator of a show, arguing against ideologies, philosophies. Then there was a time where you have the fire and brimstone type tone. And as we were talking, sometimes we would get on different subjects. And she would just talk like, duh, why'd you do it like that? Or you should have just done this, or you should have done that. And no, how did you get that idea? And what are you doing? That was her tone. And I started to realize, wait a minute. Wait. Did I not create a job for myself? And you mean to tell me I dread going to work? That's pure madness. You should not ever, ever have to tolerate your clients, and your clients should not ever have to tolerate you as a consultant. But here I was, every time when I booked her, and mind you, religiously, on time, early. So then why didn't I just switch her out? I'm sitting here, my spidey senses is going off, intuition is ringing, red flags going off, and I'm looking at the logical surface of, okay, well, she's consistent. Yes, I'm flattered that she's willing to put in the energy and drive here to get her hair done, right? But then I'm like, what are you doing? Laziness. Do you understand I was gaslighting my own self again? That's when you sit here and you're seeing what's happening. You're experiencing it in real time, but yet you're making excuses. My excuse was, yes, there's voicemails of people who, you always get calls for this, for sister locks, micro locks. You always get calls. And you're like, yeah, but I know her. I'm familiar with her, her weirdness. I could tolerate a little bit more. More gaslighting myself. And then it's like, oh, I got to vet these people. And her grid is already established, is set, is cleaned up. She was a transfer client. And sometimes when people come, if their grids are a little like, not as clean, it takes a while to clean them up. It depends on how long they've let their hair go in transition and finding another consultant. She said already, I could just deal with it. No. There was a last straw. I became irritated, and I just made a mental note. This would be her last time that I would see her. So later on, I sent her a text, and I told her, upon some soul searching, thank you for allowing me to go along on your lock journey, but I don't think that I'm a good fit for you. And she never responded. She just faded into the ether. That's the best way I could put it. But a valuable lesson was learned in that. See, I was a person that likes to collect data. Let's say a house is on fire, and people have different approaches. You have the person that's there and it's like, wow, look at that. The house is on fire. It was in the living room. Oh my goodness. It's in the kitchen. Oh my goodness. And you get so distracted and caught up with collecting data, and you think you're doing something good. But even though the house is on fire, that is something dangerous. What's dangerous in this situation with the client is that my peace of mind and my environment, my feelings was disrupted. And yet it was disrupted. I was collecting data on how much it was being disrupted. Another scenario with the house fire is when you have that person that is just all caught up and distracted and in shock. And again, distracted by the fire itself. Oh my gosh, it's like all the bad things that can happen with this fire. But yet nobody's calling the fire department. Even when you're collecting data, no one's calling the fire department. And then you have that person who for a split second is like, oh my goodness, the house is on fire. Okay, let me whip up my phone. Let me call 911. Let me call the neighbor. Let me call someone. Or let me activate the emergency system on my phone, on my cell phone. There's different protocols for different things. And they get stuff done. So I sat here collecting all this data and gaslighting myself. And I'm like, until I hit the last straw. And then you realize you don't get what you deserve. You get what you tolerate. And if your spidey senses are going off and these red flags, who do you think these red flags are going off for? Is it for the benefit of the other person, or is it for the benefit of you? So, that changed the whole trajectory. Now, I have some other weird stories I could tell you of learning this lesson in different nuanced ways. I'll share that in the future. But at the end of the day, what I've come to realize is when your spidey senses, your intuition, your gut feeling, inner knowing, inner nudging, when it talks to you, you have to listen. If not, you go down a winding road of inconvenience, annoyance. See, the thing about it is also that some people are like, okay, it doesn't matter, it's paying your bills. But your existence is not solely on paying your bills. You want to pay your bills, but you want to enjoy how you make money in paying your bills. You want to enjoy the environment. You want to feel a certain way. A lot of times we discredit that and we're like, it's just about paying the bills. In the beginning, it's just about paying the bills. Because in the beginning, you'll take all sorts of people until you get to a point where you get comfortable and you're like, okay, I can manage this, I can manage this. Then you can start to be a little more nuanced. So people don't understand that sometimes. All they see is, oh, you're just making money. No, now it's making money, but making money in a way that the other aspects of my existence is also served. And I've come to realize that your intuition is the key to that. So the next time your intuition goes off the hook or your spidey senses, what are you going to do with that information? All right, beautiful souls, trust your beauty and embrace it. Until next time, avail.